Hey y'all, good morning. Let's just call this for what it is. This one is chuck roast on the smoker 2.0. I'll explain. So a while back I did a chuck roast video, and I took it from beginning to end like I try to do with all of them, and cooked it basically the same exact way that I would cook a brisket. Well, today I'm cooking another chuck roast the same exact way that I would cook a brisket, but a different way. This one is specifically going to be so that I can end up with shredded beef. Shredded roast beef coming from that chuck roast. And that's what I'm working towards getting today. So this one is going to be just done a little bit different. Stick around, I'll show you exactly what I mean. We got a good hot fire going. We'll have a good bit of coals here shortly. And once we do, then I'm already ready to put that chuck roast on the smoker, because last night I went in there and I seasoned it all up: salt, pepper, garlic, some of that Monterey steak seasoning from McCormick. I like that on here because, boy, it's really, really coarse, and it gives you a really, really good bark. Really, really. And so I'll take it out of the refrigerator here in a little bit. So I like to let it sit about 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most, before I throw it on the smoker, just because you want to let it rest. You don't want to take it right out of the refrigerator and put it right on the smoker. Let it sit out there and get to room temperature before you do that. In the meantime, just waiting on these coals to get to be coals. I should say I'm waiting on this wood to become coals. Let's go have another cup of coffee and come back here in a few minutes and check on this. You good with that? Are you good with that? Sure you are. I hope you are. Are you? I did something a little bit different, and I just, on the fly, I just decided to try something just a little bit different. And what I did was I seared it. I took a pan, a little bit of avocado oil, and I just seared it. This is the sear sound. I seared it on both sides and then all the way around the outside edge. And I got a little bitty piece too that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I don't know. I got to figure something out on that. But I did the same thing with that as well. Then I put it in a Dutch oven that I'll show you. And I got it about halfway covered in beef broth, red wine, and my little secret thing that if it turns out great, I'll tell you about it, and if it doesn't, I won't. I'll tell you about it anyway. There's a product called Claude's Fajita Marinade, and it's rich and it's super, super flavorful. And I've been using it anytime I mix up any kind of anything that's gonna be you're gonna cook in. So like at the end of a brisket cook, or at the end of that tri-tip cook that I did. Oh, I didn't post that. Anyway, never mind. Forget about that. I had to fix a problem. I need to post something about that. How to fix. My tri-tip came out too rare for everybody else. It was perfect for me. It was too rare for everybody else, so I kept half of it and I fixed it. Remind me to show you that sometime. You don't have to stay with what you ended up with. You can fix that stuff lots of times. But I digress. I mixed all that up in that Dutch oven, and now that Dutch oven's gonna go on this smoker. And we're gonna cook it that way instead of in a foil pan. And I don't have a clue how it's gonna turn out. I do not know how it's gonna turn out, but we're gonna find out together, just like always. Chuck roast, seared, pan seared, put in a Dutch oven with a combination, it's my dogs, with a combination of red wine, beef broth, and Claude's Fajita Marinade. I'll put links to that Fajita Marinade. It could be Clyde's. I think it's Clyde's. Now that I've said Claude's, I think it's Clyde's. I'll put a link in the bottom down there. And hey, here's a good chance. As long as I'm talking about down there, hit a like button. What do you say? If you do, indeed, hit a like button. Anyway, I'm gonna open this up. I'm going to put that Dutch oven on there. I'm going to kind of show you, and then I'm going to show you the inside as I put it on. It is 12 12:15 Central Standard Time. I don't know what that is, Greenwich time. Anybody know? What's the difference? It's 12:15 in the afternoon, Central Standard Time on a Sunday. I'm only telling you that so that we can see how long this whole process takes. Plus, I could be just ruining this whole piece of chuck roast. I don't know. I've never done this before. I took a slow cooker recipe and I'm adapting it to a smoker. How the hell is that gonna work? I don't know. We'll see. So this is what we got right here. And let's see. That's my chuck roast. And it's gonna sit right in there. See if I can do this without killing your ears again. Okay. We're gonna leave it in there for about, I don't know how long we're gonna leave it in there. I'm gonna put a probe in about an hour and a half at 1:30, 2 o'clock. At about 2 o'clock, I'm gonna put a probe in there and just see what the temperature ends up being. And then we'll go from there. We want an internal temperature when we're completely done, all said and done, at about 202, 204, 205, somewhere in there. Because what we want is we just want it fork tender, where it just pulls apart, where it just shreds apart. Pulled was the word I was looking for earlier whenever I said whatever it was I said. Pulled beef, that's what we want. We want it to just pull apart. So, hey, fingers crossed, keeping a good thought. This is the start. Let's see where it ends up at, y'all. Hey, just a quick little talk about clean smoke versus dirty smoke. Let me show y'all something. So it's been an hour that we've had our chuck roast on this fire, and it's stayed, you know, right around 300, just a few degrees this way or that way. I love this smoker. I love my old country Wrangler smoker. That's a talk for another time. So you look at that smokestack at 300 degrees. This, you just don't even see the smoke unless you come right here and put that post behind there, and maybe you can see it a little bit. It's coming right at the camera. It is literally coming right at the camera. I don't know how I can do this so that y'all can see it, but that is just absolutely the cleanest smoke you can possibly hope to get. I'm gonna mess things up, and I'm gonna open this up right here just because I can. Watch this. That's my bed of coals, and that's got smoke coming off of it. You can see the smoke. That's what's called clean smoke, and that is what you want. Yes, you want a smoky flavor on your food that you cook, but you don't want big billowing clouds of dark, thick, gray smoke. You want smoke that is just almost invisible to the eye. And I was just so proud of my smoke that I felt like I should just share it with the world. So, world, there's the cleanest smoke you could ever hope to get. Old country, barbecue pits. This is the Wrangler edition. I could not be happier with the way this thing cooks. And that's my TED Talk. Thank you for attending. It is just short of 2 hours since I put the Dutch oven in the smoker with the chuck roast, in the beef broth, the red wine, and the Claude's Fajita marinade. So, as you can see, I guess I should have mentioned that. As you can see, the internal temperature of that chuck roast right now is 195 degrees. I uncovered it. I took the lid off of the Dutch oven when it hit about 170, and it's been uncovered ever since. So it's all just in those juices. I'm kind of treating this like a crock pot. And again, I don't know how this is going to turn out. We're going to find out. I'm very nervous. So we'll find out. We want it to get up to about 2 somewhere between 202, 204, no more than 206 at the very most. And right now it's at 195 internal temperature. See the one that says food? That's the one that's inside the chuck roast. The other one is the internal temperature, is the smoker temperature. So we want that one to get up to 202, 204, 206. And the ultimate goal here is to make it fork tender, where all you gotta do is just pull it apart with a fork. And that's our goal. See, I opened that up, got all that air in there. My smoke got heavier, but it's okay. You saw what it was like. That's what it's been like. I'll let you know when we're ready to pull it off the smoker, bring it in the kitchen and start tearing her apart. I don't know. We'll see what happens, y'all. Okay, with right at 2.5 hours in, we've hit over 200 degrees on our internal temperature, and I've got one last step. All right, so since it's been in that Dutch oven the whole time cooking, and it's been submerged about halfway, you saw, in the beef broth, the red wine, and the Claude's, I did look, I went and looked at it, it is Claude's Fajita Marinade. Marinade. That, I had to put a link in there to get this right. So it's been in there the whole time. We did get it up over 200 degrees, and so I still have a little bit to get it. And that last from about 197 to 200, it took it a minute. So what I'm gonna do now, I got one last step. What I'm about to do is I'm gonna take it out of that Dutch oven, and I'm just gonna set it right on the grill. You tell them, Bo. Okay. There. So, okay, the theory is it's been cooking in these juices. So, my thinking is now we set it right there on the grate inside the smoker and give it about a good 10-15 minutes just to not be in the juices while it's cooking. Finish it off that way. It's almost the exact reverse of what I've always done in the past. Set it on the smoker, get the good bark on it, finish it out inside a pan with a little bit of beef broth. Accidentally, inadvertently, not intentionally, I did this exactly in the reverse. So that might have messed everything up. I could have really screwed this thing up by doing it backwards, or bass-ackwards, as some of my family used to say. So let's give it about 15 minutes on there, just on that grate, sitting straight on that grate, keeping our fire pretty stoked, 285, 300 right in there for about 15 minutes. And then we'll see what in the hell have I done. All right, so as I said, this is kind of a backwards way of doing this. So I don't know how tender it's gonna be. You can see it's in sections. It just naturally has different sections. So I'm gonna pull those apart and see what we end up with here. Let me cut this little section right here out, right there. And then this piece right here, let's cut it out, and then take that little piece right there off. And let's see, the grain on this piece right here runs, man, I can't tell, looks like it runs through here. So let's see here, let's see. Looks like it runs just like this. So if I want to pull this apart, nope, it did not at all work the way that I wanted it to. It absolutely did not. Now, here's my grain running this way, so let's try it right here. But yeah, I can't really pull it like I would want to for pulled beef, for tacos or sandwiches or what have you. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not horrible. It's just not what I wanted it to be. So there's the grain all along there. So if I take that, there we go. If I take it once I get up here into this part right here, then I can go ahead and just pull it. This was what I had in mind for the whole thing. See that? Just pull right across that grain. But it is absolutely not what I was hoping for. And I think it's because I did it backwards. I put it in the Dutch oven and I cooked it that way first. And then, after it had gotten up to temperature, then I took it out of the Dutch oven and put it in the, just put it right on the grate in the smoker. And that just made it tougher than it would have if I'd have done the exact same process the right way. So you got your grain running through there, and you can just take and peel it apart right there at the grain, and it still comes off. Yeah, I'm not thrilled. I'm not considering this a win for the home team, but I'm not considering it a horrific loss either. And you get to the grain, and then it just pulls apart. So you just got to work at it a little bit more. Maybe I'm learning a little bit more about it right here. Maybe it's not quite as bad as I think it is, because once you get into where that grain is, it just pulls right apart. Anyway, there's our Chuck Roast 2.0, and I don't know. I think I still got some work to do on this one, but I think when it's all said and done, the ultimate end of this was just to have some good meat that I could use for tacos or for sandwiches. We definitely got that. So, win, lose, or draw, I still got a meal. And that's more than I could hope for anyway. Well, thank y'all one more time. I'm gonna finish cutting this up and I'll be back in just a second. So, hey y'all, all things considered, I mean, I got a smoke ring on there. It got really, really better bark than I thought I was going to. I actually said really, really good bark, but it's not really, really good. It's just really, really better than what I thought it was going to be. No, it didn't pull apart just exactly the way I wanted it to. Yes, I think I know why. Yes, I think I can do better next time. If you guys try this, don't do it this way. Flip this and reverse it. Go ahead, cook it on the smoker. Then put it in whatever type of container you're going to put it in. A cooking tray, an aluminum tray with a top on it. I did the Dutch oven. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm not hating on this. I'm just not loving on it either. Well, I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that came out exactly the way I drew it up, because it didn't, and I think that was pretty obvious. Also, like I said, I'm not taking that as a total loss. You know, I'll take it as a tie if you're looking at it in hockey terms. We got a little bit in overtime there at the end. But, hey, it could have been worse. It came out the way it came out, and I learned a lot from it. I hope that you did too. Let's not ever again do it where you put it in a pan, a pot, Dutch oven, whatever, and cook it in the liquid, and then turn around and put it on your smoker and hope to get real super tender, juicy the way we did. It is juicy. It's got a lot of juice. It's just not tender. It's just not the tenderness that I anticipated it to be whenever I started out this morning or early this afternoon. It's 3:45. We put it on at 12:15. Y'all can do the math. Y'all, it wasn't that long to cook, but it is absolutely done. We got it up to about 2:02 when we completely pulled it off. So here was the process, okay? And I'm going to give you the process so that maybe you don't absolutely follow it step by step, but you take and flip and reverse these couple of different ones. So I used, I'll put links in the bottom for the seasoning that I used, but if you followed any of these, it was the B&B Trinity, and it was the Monterey steak seasoning from McCormick. I used that. There was another one that I used in there. I'll put it in there as well. I'll put the link in there as well. Wrap that up in saran wrap, put it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight. Then I brought it out this morning. I put it in the Dutch oven with what I put it in the Dutch oven with. And then I took it out and put it right just on the grate in the smoker with, didn't wrap it, nothing at all. It had plenty of moisture. It didn't need to be wrapped. And I set it on there until it got an internal temperature of around 202. Then that's whenever I pulled it off and took it in, let it rest, and then attempted to pull it apart. But it didn't pull apart the way I wanted it to. I'm gonna do this again here in a few weeks. And like I said, I'm just gonna flip and reverse those 2 steps. I'm gonna put it on the grill, put it on the smoker, right on the grate, cook it to an internal temperature of about 174, 175 degrees. Then I'm gonna put it in a pan or that Dutch oven, and I'm gonna put it with the same exact, the same thing I put it in today. The Claude's Fajita Marinade, a little bit of red wine, and some beef broth. And then I'm gonna let it simmer in there. I'm gonna let it braise in there till it gets up to about 202, 204. And then I'm gonna take it off, and then I'm gonna let it rest, and then I'm gonna see if that makes a big difference. Again, the final product, the taste of it's gonna be fine. It's still tender, it's still juicy. It just didn't fall apart the way I wanted it to. And for that, I'm pretty disappointed. So anyway, it came out the way it came out. I'm not gonna hate on it. That's for somebody else to do. I enjoyed doing it. I hope that you guys take this and make it better. I hope that you take this process and make it better than I made it. It shouldn't be hard. In the meantime, y'all, thank you for watching these. Be good to each other and keep on smoking.